Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Can we start? Three more students to come, four more students to come. We need to wait or we will start.
I think can start, miss.
Okay. So last class we saw. So as I said early, like antenatal will be of our PT role will be of two ways. One is either the patient will be coming to us with any problem and we need to give them the treatment for that problem. Along with that, we will also give the other antenatal exercises and other things. Okay, so say this is one way. Another way is sometimes in most of the clinical setup we will be able to conduct antenatal classes. So normally this antenatal classes will be done at 32 weeks. But nowadays we don't wait till 32 weeks. We start the exercises little early. It is called as early bird class. So these classes will be conducted in maybe like it will take 6 days because we divide the exercises into six different things and we give them like a 6 weeks exercise. So what we do was we call them every week and we will be conducting the class one day and we will teach them the exercises they need to follow. So that's why we don't start by 32 weeks. We start little early so that we are able to complete the 6 week program. Okay, so it will be like a program. So we will conduct it as a group therapy. Okay, so we will see what are the exercises we will be doing. Then accordingly we will be able to sort out what is the like we will be then we will be after the exercises then I will teach you how to do the antenatal classes. Okay, so in the exercises if you see like our role will be like first is our posture correction. So this posture correction only we have already seen during our last class. So in our last class we saw how to correct the posture for a pregnant woman in standing, in sitting and in lying. So next is like we need to strengthen the weakened muscles. So that is our next aim. So we know that there are some muscles because of the posture will undergo weakness and same because of posture it will undergo tightness. So the muscles which are undergoing tightness we need to teach isometric self stretching. Muscles which undergo weakness we need to teach them strengthening exercise. So the common muscles that undergo weakness are your neck flexors, your scapula muscles, then external shoulder external rotators, abdomen muscle, pelvic floor muscle, hip extensor and adductors, ankle plantar flexors. So these are the muscles that will undergo weakness. So we have to teach them for the neck muscles we have to teach isometric flexor exercises. So I hope you know how to do isometric neck flexor exercises. So do you want me actually since all these are common exercises, I have not I didn't take out the videos. So, but if you want videos, then I can show you the videos also. So for this isometrics and all, do you want me to show videos? What happened? Do you want it or don't want? So okay means okay. So first is isometric neck flexor exercises. So you make the person to sit in front of a mirror. Then you have to teach them how to do isometric neck flexion. So here neck flexion, if you see, along with side flexors also you have to teach them. So the main points you have to consider here is throughout the exercises, the neck should be in neutral position. So you need to make them to give the counter pressure in such a way that they are holding the complete face. They are not just holding the forehead alone. Okay, so they need to give a they need to hold the complete body and sorry, complete face. Then they have to give the counterbalancing pressure for this isometric neck flexor exercises. So you need to and one more thing you want to know was this isometric exercises should be done for only 10 counts and 7 seconds, not more than that. So every it can be repeated for 10 times, or like it can be repeated till 100 times, but only thing is for one time it has to be holding only for 7 to 10 counts. Okay, 7 seconds and 10 counts. Okay, so that is about isometric neck flexors. So maybe I think I will better send you the videos. Maybe I'll attach the videos in LMS, you can have a look. Because like along with the class, if I show you, it will take little time. Okay, so main thing in isometric neck exercises is you need to make them make sure that their neck is in neutral position, and when they are giving the counterbalance pressure, they have to give it through like to the complete face. That means they should not hold the neck. That means they should not give the pressure only over the forehead, they have to give to the complete face. So then only the neck flexors will work. Otherwise it will be having some other alternative movements also, okay, which you are supposed to stabilize. So that is the first exercises. Next is TheraBand exercises for the shoulder scapular retractors. So retractors are nothing but like rhomboids exercises. So I will show you the video. Okay, so rhomboids exercises. So you can give a TheraBand and ask them to hold the TheraBand and stretch the TheraBand so that your scapular muscles are strengthened. Okay, so I'll show you the video. Next is for shoulder external rotators. Also, you can use the same TheraBand and improve the shoulder extensors. Then graded abdominal exercises. So graded abdominal exercises, since they are pregnant, you may not be able to do grade 5, but you can see like how much is their muscle power, and accordingly you can do. So you will not be able to improve till 5, maybe maximum 4. Most of them will be able to do only 3. Okay, so that is enough if they do 3. No need to go till 4 and 5. So next is about pelvic floor muscle exercises. This one I'll show you the video. Then hip strengthening, hip extensors. Hip extensors is nothing but hamstring strengthening exercises. Then hip abductor strengthening exercises. Same thing you can also do in TheraBand, or you can do using weight cuffs or dumbbells. Then ankle plantar flexor exercises. So ankle plantar flexor exercises is your calf muscle strengthening. So these are the strengthening you have to do it. Next is stretching. There is neck extensor stretching, scapular protractor stretching. Protractors means like your pectoralis major and minor stretching. Then shoulder internal rotator stretching, low back extensor stretching, perineal stretching, and pelvic flexor and adductor stretching. So all this I will upload the video so that like you can have a look. Then if we have doubt, then we will see it. Only for pelvic floor and graded abdomen exercises I will show you now. So first we will see the graded abdominal exercises, then we will go to pelvic floor exercises.
So our next exercise is an abdominal contraction exercise, focusing on your lower abdominal area, which is called your transverse abdominis. So first you'll place.
So this is your isometric abdominal exercises. So normally we will start from isometric abdominal exercises.
Our next exercise is an abdominal contraction exercise, focusing on your lower abdominal area, which is called your transverse abdominis muscle. So we'll do an isometric. So first you'll place both fingertips of both hands on your low belly or pelvis bone area. You'll be comfortably relaxed with the knees bent, with very relaxed and normal breathing. So the area of focus is between your fingertips. There are many different cues we use to engage these muscles. One is the idea of gently drawing the muscle inward that's underneath your fingers. Excellent. And it's really important to maintain normal, relaxed breathing. If that felt difficult, some people will consider a small zipper that comes from the crease of their hips towards their fingers or from their fingers inward, gently drawing in, again maintaining normal breathing. You'll try to hold this contraction approximately 10 seconds to ensure relaxed breathing, and you'll try to do this 5 repetitions 2 to 3 times per day. Some of the things that people do in error with this exercise is they actually try to do a pelvic tilt or flattening of the low back, which is not what we want ideally, or they will actually draw air in under their ribs, lifting up and arching their back. Also not what we want. So relax there. And that was great.
Okay, so here if you see, so the person, you can teach them in lying down position, but then you can advise them to do in sitting, and they can also do this exercises in standing. So only thing is, like, you need to make sure that they are not doing the other movements, like holding their breath. They should not do pelvic tilting. They should not arch their back. So all these extra movement they should avoid. So make them to do this in lying 1 or 2 times. Then after that you can make them to practice this in sitting and standing. So especially if they are in most of the time they will be coming to you at the second trimester, then you will be able to improve. You should not be making them to be lying in supine lying. Okay, so all the exercises almost you can do in sitting and standing. Exactly. So this is your isometric abdominal exercises. So you are supposed to hold the contraction for 10 counts. Then you have to relax. Is that clear? So the next is graded abdominal exercises. Graded abdominal exercises are nothing but your abdominal exercises where, like, where you are supposed to where you are supposed to see which which they are in which muscle grading, and according to that you will be able to improve their muscle power. So if suppose if their muscle power is 2, then you can increase to 3. Most of the time we will be able to increase to 3 or 3 plus, not more than 4.
In and place your hands on your thighs. Lie on your back. Your knees should point towards the ceiling and your feet should be flat on the floor. Now, slowly take a deep breath in and place your hands on your thighs. As you exhale, raise your body off the floor and slide your hands up your knees. If you feel comfortable, you can hold this position for 4 counts. Now slowly return to starting position. You can repeat this exercise up to 10 times. The back is one of the areas that can get deeply affected.
Okay, so in this exercises, the main thing what you want to check is, so one is like you should not have any pelvic tilt, it should be in neutral, and for that only you are bending the legs. If you bend the legs, the pelvis will be holded in neutral position. Okay, then while getting up from the bed, you should not flex your neck. You are supposed to do it together. Together means along with your upper trunk. Is that clear? You should not flex your neck. Uh, you should lift up in such a way that you are seeing the ceiling and bring up the shoulder till the thoracic level. So this is graded exercises. So for people who are having 2, you will be able to do this. So people who are having only muscle power 2, then for them you will be able to do this. Okay, the next is
Hi, I'm Margie Weiss. The name of this video is How to Stay Fit Over 50, and this segment that we're doing is the abs, the core. There are a lot of different muscles in the core. Most people know what a crunch is because they've been doing it all their life, but they've probably been doing it wrong all their life. The idea behind working your core, especially your abs in the front, and abs are in the back as well, but is to make sure that the belly button and the lower abs contract downwards as you work. If the muscle can go down or it can go up. And if it goes up, you're going to build a dome in your lower abs. And we don't want to add volume to our abs. We want to get them toned, but we want them as contracted and as small as possible. So anytime you lift into a crunch, whether it's arms or legs, first you want to breathe out, press your belly button to your backbone, and hollow your lower abs. Try to press your lower back into the floor. In order to do that, squeeze your glutes because they're involved too. That way from here to here is all involved in every crunch workout. It's not an exercise for your neck, so doing this up and down is not going to get your abs any stronger. If you do ab work where you're lifting your chest, basic crunch, she would probably have, at first, hands behind the head because that way you're supporting your head.
okay. So this is actually post abdominal exercises. So you are not supposed to do grade 5. You are supposed to do only grade 2 and 3. Is that clear? So don't do this one. This is grade 5 exercise.
You don't have to if you're strong enough. But if she was doing that, if you put your fist right under the chin, as she lifts, her nose is coming straight up and her space between her chin and her chest is still there. What she doesn't...
Okay, can you see this? So I just want you to emphasize on one particular point because most of the time whenever we are teaching the graded abdominal exercises, we don't look this point. So most of the time they will be doing with neck flexion, which is a very wrong exercises, plus they will end up in lot of neck pain. Okay, so that's why I wanted to show this video.
Want to do when she comes up is crunch this way because now she's gotten her neck extended, but she hasn't done anything more for her core. So as she comes up, her chin's going straight up, kind of feels like her chin's going to the ceiling. And what happens here, as you'll notice, when she goes down and comes back up again, it's going down and under as her chest lifts. So her belly button's going to the floor. You're going to breathe out on the rise so that you get rid of the volume of your lungs, and then breathe in when you get to the bottom. Every time you come up, you squeeze the glutes as well so that your lower back is on the ground. Now you don't have to have your hands behind your head. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can put your arms right down next to your thighs. And if you want, you can even put a weight in both hands because that way you can generally come up a little bit higher. So you can do that crunch, and because you have a counterweight there, you can get up a little higher. But again, don't make it a neck exercise. It's rib to hip. The rib and the hip bone come together. In order to come together, the belly button has to get out of the way. So it's got to go down as the body comes up and as the rib and the hip come together. So that's a basic crunch, and that's the one that most people know how to do. But it's not the one that most people are weakest in. Most people, especially women, are weak in the lower abs. And since the lower abs keep your intestines and everything else that's in your stomach in place. You want to have them strong enough that they draw upwards and inwards. So the way to do that is to work the lower body. If you get into an L position, your lower back is on the ground and you can feel it. Object on these exercises is don't lower your legs any lower than your lower back can handle. So if it's starting to come off the ground, don't go any lower because you're not gaining strength. You may be injuring yourself. Easiest option, one leg at a time. Legs are going to be bent, so you're just going to tap one leg down and tap the other. Easiest option. Once you've mastered that and you can feel your lower back on the ground, you can do 2 legs at a time. And you can go down a little bit, you can go down a lot. You decide by the determining factor being your lower back, staying on the ground. Once you've gone past that, and it's comfortable and safe, you can do it with straight legs. And again, you can do 1 leg at a time, so you just drop 1 leg down, come back up, and the other leg. Or you can do both legs, concentrating on where your lower back is. Breathing out on the rise, and breathing in as you drop. If that lower back comes off the ground, don't go so low. Or many people can get down with their legs straight, but they can't get back up with their legs straight. So you can go down straight and you can bend them on the rise. So you get down to here and you relieve the pressure a little bit.
Okay, so this is your lower abdominal graded exercises, which you will not be able to do when they will not be able to do when they are pregnant. So you can teach this in case if they are very stronger enough, and don't do with bilateral legs. Let them do it in single unilateral leg. Is that clear? So this is your lower abdominal graded exercises, which most of the pregnant women will not be able to do it. So better we can give them a unilateral leg with grade 3, not more than that. Is that clear? So next is regarding the pelvic floor exercises. So pelvic floor exercises is first you need to teach them how to identify the muscle. Then only you have to teach them the exercises. So how to identify the muscle is, you can ask the person to sit at the edge of the couch, or you can ask the person to sit on a chair with the feet apart. Okay, so let them sit on the chair with feet apart. So the muscle which is touching the chair in between your thighs is your pelvic floor muscle. Okay, so you have to make them, because most of the time we will not be able to see this muscle. So teaching a correct exercise will be little bit difficult. So that's why you need to make them understand what is the muscle. Then slowly you have to ask them to do the exercises. So how to do was, how to make them understand what is the muscle means, you ask the person to sit in a chair with feet apart. So once they sit feet apart, then now you can say the muscle which is touching the chair is your chair, that is sitting part will be your pelvic floor muscle. Okay, so in this position, you can ask them to do in such a way that they are stopping the urine and the motion. So either they can start from anterior, that is they can do as if they are stopping the urine, then they can do as if they are stopping the motion. Is that clear? So when they do this, automatically the muscle that is touching the floor will just squeeze and lift up. Okay, so once it is lifting up like that, that is the correct muscle they are supposed to do the exercise. Is that clear? So I repeat again. So it is little tougher to find out the pelvic floor muscle. So you can ask the person to sit in a chair with feet apart. Then the part that is touching the chair is the pelvic floor muscle. Now you can ask them to do in such a way that they can just stop as if they are stopping the urine. They can just do as if they are stopping the urine. Okay, then slowly they can do as if they are stopping the motion or they are stopping the wind. Okay, so this, when they are doing this, they can feel the part that is touching the chair is moving little bit upward. Okay, so as if it is shrinking and lifted little bit upward. So that is your pelvic floor muscle. So first let them identify the pelvic floor muscle, then they can do the exercises. Okay, so the videos I'll show you now.
Buttock muscles, it won't strengthen your pelvic floor and it'll just really waste your time if that's why you're doing it. Now today I'm going to guide you step by step through Kegel exercises that won't waste your time and will strengthen your pelvic floor. This guide is suitable for you if you're a beginner starting out or if you're a little unsure about doing your Kegels. Now today we're going to cover the best Kegels position to start with, and then we'll go through how to do your Kegels step by step. We'll take a look at how many Kegels to start with and also how long you need to wait for results. So when you're starting out, the best position for doing your Kegels is the one that you can really feel your exercises. It's often really quite hard to feel your Kegels, so getting yourself in the right position can really help you when you're starting out. So you might like to try your exercises in any of the following positions and see which one works best for you. So you can try perhaps kneeling on all fours, lying prone on your tummy, lying on your back, on your side with a pillow between your knees, or sitting, which is the position we're going to start with today. Now let's get started with your exercises. Your pelvic floor muscles are here between your legs where you sit. Now looking at the same view on this model, you can see how the pelvic floor muscles wrap around the three openings in your pelvic floor. You can see them here at the front, around the urethra and the vagina, and you can also see them here circling around the anus at the back. We're going to be exercising all these muscles together now. Now, here are the 3 steps for doing your Kegel exercises correctly. I'll guide you carefully through each step and then we'll put all the 3 steps together. I want you to start by moving forward away from the back of the chair that you're sitting on now. I'd like you to lift your chest and keep the inward curve in your lower back like this. So you're sitting tall here, your chest is lifted like this, and you have an inward curve in your lower back. Now here's the first step. Try to tighten your anus like this, as if you're stopping gas from passing. You should feel your anus tighten, but your buttocks should stay relaxed. So try that now. Try to tighten the anus, squeeze shut. But if you notice that you're moving up and down like this, you're using your buttocks, and that's not the right thing to do. Try to keep them relaxed, because that can make you actually think that you're doing the exercise when you're not. Now try again, tighten your anus and try to lift it inwards as if you're lifting it upwards towards your navel, as well as squeezing it shut. You should feel a squeezing and lifting sensation around your anus. Now relax around that area and back to resting. How did you go with that? Hopefully you could feel a tightening sensation, and this is part of your Kegel exercise. Now, step 2 can be a little tricky, so I need you to listen really carefully. I want you to tighten and squeeze the entrance to your vagina as if you're closing it shut. All right, let's try that. Try to tighten around the vagina, but also try to lift it inwards as if there's a string drawing up from the top of your vagina up inside towards your navel. Okay, so see if you can draw that up and in, and you might feel your anus tighten and your lower belly tighten too. That's exactly what you want to happen. Now relax back down to resting. So if you're having trouble feeling this exercise, try rolling up a hand towel and sitting on it like this. This can make it much easier to feel your Kegel exercises. Now step 3. Here's And that's not the right thing to do. Try to keep them relaxed because that can make you actually think that you're doing the exercise
you are able
when
to
you're not. Now try again, tighten your anus and try to lift it inwards as if you're lifting it upwards towards your navel as well as squeezing it shut. You should feel a squeezing and lifting sensation around your anus. Now relax around that area and back to resting. How did you go with that? Hopefully you could feel a tightening sensation, and this is part of your Kegel exercise. Now, step 2 can be a little tricky, so I need you to listen really carefully. I want you to tighten and squeeze the entrance to your vagina as if you're closing it shut. All right, let's try that. Try to tighten around the vagina, but also try to lift it inwards as if there's a string drawing up from the top of your vagina up inside towards your navel. Okay, so see if you can draw that up and in, and you might feel your anus tighten and your lower belly tighten too. That's exactly what you want to happen. Now relax back down to resting. So if you're having trouble feeling this exercise, try rolling up a hand towel and sitting on it like this. This can make it much easier to feel your Kegel exercises. Now step 3, here's your final step, so stay with me, we're nearly there. This time, try to tighten, or imagine you're tightening the area in front of your vagina.
The internet strength is good only. I don't know why it is not coming.
Miss, is it okay? Just share us the link.
Okay. Okay, so I will share you the videos, okay, of pelvic floor. Then extensors is your hamstring and abductors and all. I think you will be knowing the exercises. So, anyways, I will upload all the videos in the LMS. Next is stretching. So, stretching you need to do for your upper extensor, upper neck extensors. So, upper neck extensors are nothing but like when you want to stretch the extensors, you need to do neck flexion. So, that will be helping you to do the stretching. Okay, so that one, then scapular protractor exercises. So,
Miss, sorry to interrupt. Miss, do you mind to share again the screen because it's quite blur?
how was that? Still
For me,
bad?
it's still blur. For me, it's still blur, Miss.
Okay, okay.
Not sure for others, lah. I think it's same.
Let me just shift to another and see. How is it now?
Still blur, Miss.
No different, Miss. Miss, maybe can you just quit from the share screen and share again the screen?
Maybe let me just restart my router and come.
Can Miss?
Just wait for a while. Okay, how is it now?
Oh, it's good, Miss.
Okay, next about the stretching. So you have to teach them how to stretch the neck extensors, scapula protractors, then internal rotators and lower back extensors. Pelvic floor, perineal muscles alone you have to do it. Then hip flexors and adductors. So about neck extensors, you need to ask them to do neck flexion. So if you want to stretch your neck extensors, you need to ask them to do neck flexion. So you have to ask them to do full neck flexion, which will be giving them stretching over the neck extensors. Scapula protractors, what you have to do is, this is your pectoralis major muscle. You have to ask them to stand at a room corner and you have to teach them how to do wall stretching. Okay, so that is your scapula protractor stretching. Then shoulder internal rotators, you have to ask them to do your shoulder internal rotators are your teres minor and teres major and minor. So I will show you the video of it. Then low back extensors you will not be able to stretch much because because of the bulging abdomen you will not be able to stretch the low back extensors, but you can make them to do pelvic tilting exercises. Then perineal muscle stretching I will teach you how to do. Then hip flexors and adductors. I hope you know how to do hip flexors and adductor stretching. So when you are doing this stretching, you teach them self-stretching because already all the joints will be little bit lax and loose. So if you do passively, sometimes it may get dislocated. So you should not do a passive stretching. Let them do, you teach them active, let them do the self-stretching actively. Okay, so these are the technique exercises you will be doing in case if they are coming to you with any problem. So for example, if they are coming to you with back pain, then related to that alone you will do. If they come to you with thoracic pain, then related to that alone you will be doing it. Okay, then so it is like according to the complaints you have to choose the exercises and you have to do it. You don't need to teach all the exercises for them. So next is like when they come for an antenatal class. So usually this antenatal classes will be starting from 32 weeks, but because when you start from 32 weeks, by the time you complete all the week exercises, it will become 38. So that's why we start the antenatal classes little early. Maybe in the second trimester itself, we will be able to start in the antenatal classes. So this classes will be conducted in a group. So it will not be conducted in a single manner. It will be conducted in a group. So you can just choose the group of about 6 to 8 couples, because when 6 to 8 couples itself, then it will become around 16 to 18 number of individuals in a room. So according to the room size, you can choose the number of couples, choose little less so that you will be able to give them a individual attention, because even though if you are making them to do in a group, but still you need to give them individual attention, because some of them might need some modification in the exercises, some might be contraindicated to that particular exercises. So you need to keep on watching them, so have a smaller group. Okay. So this is a 6 weeks protocol. So the first week will be, you will be having a ice breaking session among the group members. Why? Because when around 8 couples are going to go along, they need to talk to each other. They need to they are supposed to mingle among themselves. If they don't mingle, then they like no point in having a group. Okay, so that's why you need to have ice breaking. Then another thing is, normally women's will be feeling that if they have any problem, they will think why only they are having that particular problem, and they will be getting they will be worrying too much. So to avoid this only, we are going to give them the we are going to ask them to mingle in the group. So once they talk to the other couple, and if they feel the other women also having the same problem, then they will feel they'll be little bit okay. So to for that only, we have to make them to mingle among themselves. So for this ice breaking, so you can just conduct a small game, or ask them to introduce like that. Like you just do a small game kind of a ice breaking session. Then after the ice breaking session, then we are going to go for the exercises and stretching and strengthening exercises. So we know what are the muscles that will be affected. So according to that, we will design the protocol. So first is regarding the back care. So back care, definitely this is a common problem where all the women will be having, especially during the pregnancy. This is because of the posture. This is because of the hormonal and the weight changes. So posture, we know that because of the abdomen distension, the complete posture will be affected, and that posture will lead to lot of problem. Then second thing is hormonal changes. So due to hormonal changes, the smooth muscles will undergo relaxation, and because of that, they will be smooth muscle will undergo relaxation, and because of that, they will have the joints will become little bit unstable, and they might have this back pain. Then weight changes, definitely there will be a lot of weight gains, and this weight gains might lead to some problem. So these are the reasons for women having back pain. And basically you need to teach them how to sit, how to stand, and how to work, because already they will have little weaker back, and if they don't do proper position, it may affect their back. So you need to teach them the ergonomic advices. You need to create the ergonomic awareness to the women. So regarding the sitting position, standing position, and doing the activity position, this is the main thing. So how to sit? So this is the way you are supposed to sit. So you should not sit with a slouching position. You have to sit straight with a complete back supported on the bed. And not only that, the thigh should be supported completely in the chair, and a little bit like it should be in such a way that the chair should be in such a way that they are keeping their they are keeping their popliteal fossa just 1 centimeter out of the chair. In this position only they are supposed to sit, and the limb should be in such a way that it is maintained in 90-degree position. Okay, the hip and the ankle should be in 90-degree position. So this this is more important. So you can see here, so you should not practice this way, you have to supposed to practice this way. Then next is standing position. So while standing position, they should not stand in this particular posture. Anyways, like I will show you, I have already shown you the video about this posture. So you are supposed to make them to stand in front in a straight line. So you can just teach them the exercises, and you can make them to stand in front of a mirror and show them how they are standing, and adjust their standing posture. Okay, so this is sitting posture and this is standing posture. Next is like you need to teach them in such a way that they are going to change the nappy, and they are going to change the things little later. So you have to teach according to that. So teach them how to sit and lift the object. They are not supposed to lift any object like this. Okay, so it should be like this. So either they have to when they are bending down, they are supposed to bend down in such a way that the hips and knees are bent to 90 degrees instead of bending the trunk. Okay, so this is about lifting any object. Then sitting in the car, again it should be having a back straight, it should not be slouch. Then how to give bath for the baby, so you can make them to uh, you can just teach them in this position rather than this position. They are not supposed to bend down, instead they can just kneel down and give the bathing. So this is for your low back pain. Then second major problem the women will be having is symphysis pubis dysfunction. Okay, so this is like we will symphysis pubis dysfunction is both the symphysis joints will not have much movement during normal times, but during pregnancy, to give away instead of to give away the space for the baby to come out, the pubis symphysis joints will move and it will be giving space. Okay, so that when it is giving space, sometimes it will go for overriding or underriding, and this will lead to pubis symphysis dysfunction. So for treatment for this is you should make the joint to align normally later. So what you can do, you can make the person to lie down in the bed again. Then you can just try to align the joint to a neutral position. Okay. Then next is pelvic floor exercises. Pelvic floor exercises is that's what we have already seen. You can teach them in sitting. You can also teach them in standing and lying down. Okay. The next is exercises for cramps and calf pain. So this is nothing but the you can also go for a hot water bath, or you can ask them to do these exercises. So ankle toe movement, ankle circling. Okay, so this will help you to improve the circulation and reduce the cramp. Next is like you need to teach them the coping up strategies. So coping up strategy is like how to cope up with the stress. They should not give away with uh, they should not feel more stressful when they are given a particular task. They are supposed to remind themselves stress free. So this reminding themselves stress free depends on the people. So in case if they have any problem in the household, they will be keeping that in mind and they will be keep on irritated the whole day. So you are supposed to give them the stressful relaxation so that slowly they come to your control. So these are the things you will be teaching. Okay. Next is relaxation position. So relaxation position is in case if you are positioning them in lying down, you are supposed to give a pillow under the knee so that the hip will be maintained in 90 degree, maintained in neutral position. Okay, so give a small pillow roll so that the hip is maintained in neutral position. Okay, then the pillow should not be kept till the neck level. It is supposed to be kept little bit down and uh, till the scapula level. Okay, so lying down also you should not sit them. You should not. Uh, so nowadays we get something called pregnancy pillows. So those pillows are kept under the pelvis so that they are able to maintain the side laying position. Okay. Then sitting, they can also go for this. They can also go for this kind of high chair sitting. So both the positions are will give them the good relaxation. Next is week 2. So before going into the week 2, maybe if you want a break, we'll go for a break. Now the time is 3 o'clock. I will start the class by 3:10. Okay. Okay, can we start? Hello, can we start?
Yes, miss.
So are you able to see the slides clearly?
For me, it's a bit blur, miss.
Okay, now
Still blur, miss.
this one.
Okay, miss, clear.
Okay. Actually, like I have two internet connection. One is Ames one, and another one is my personal. Sometimes this is working, and sometimes that is working. I don't know what to do. Okay, so week two. So first week we will be teaching them all the stretching exercises and strengthening exercises. That means the previously yesterday also we saw it all from the posture correction, all the exercises and all the stretching exercises we will be teaching in the week one. Week one. Okay, so in the week two, we will be starting to teach them about the labor. So, how will be the labor? What are the stages of labor? In each stage, what are the things they are supposed to do? So, all these things we will be teaching them. So, in the week two, we will be teaching them about the first phase of first stage of labor. So, in the first stage, we have three phases: phase one, phase two, phase three. So, we will be teaching them the first phase alone in the week two. So, how it happened? That is how the labor will be there. And that means what is the onset of the labor and how the first phase will begin, how the pain will be there, how the cramps will be there, all those things we can teach. And to during this time, what are the things they can do to reduce the pain? Or during this time, what are the things they can do to uh, control or how they can be in a relaxed position through during this time. So that is the main concern about week 2. So in week 2 you have to teach them the slow breathing technique about in between each contraction. So the contraction will begin slowly, and you will be mainly contraction will begin slowly, and the pain also will be tolerable only. It will not be so high. So you can teach them to be in any position and do the breathing technique. Here the breathing technique is called as focused breathing. So focused breathing is nothing but we don't want to make them to concentrate on the pain. If they are concentrating on the pain, they will be doing too many they will be hyperventilating themselves, and this hyperventilation will lead to fetal distress. So to avoid that, we ask them to do something called focused breathing. So focused breathing is, we ask them to see some maybe a picture or something in the wall, and do two slow cleansing breathing. Then they can do the breathing along with the contraction. So for example, so the contraction is beginning slowly, then it will reach to a level, then slowly it will drop down. Okay, so this is the pain contraction. So the pain will begin slowly, then it will be there for some few minutes, few seconds, then slowly it will stop down. So this is the contraction. So during this time, what they do is, at the beginning of pain, they have to do one long breathing. Breathe in, then breathe out. So that is called as cleansing breath. So breathe in thoroughly through nose and exhale through mouth slowly. So that is called as cleansing breath. So then in between they should slowly do the slow phase breathing during the contraction. Slowly they have to breathe in, breathe out. Slowly they have to breathe in, breathe out. Then at the end again they have to do a complete cleansed breathing. Is that clear? So at the beginning and the end of the pain, they have to do a deep breathing. In between they have to do a slow breathing. Is that clear? So this is called focused breathing. This one they have to do during the first phase of labor. Then they'll have the second in the third week. You need to teach them about the early coping up things of the labor, like distraction techniques, then how to use tense, how to use relaxation technique, and other things. So first thing is, at the most of the time this stage they may be at home, or they may be at the at the hospital, but during this time they will not be going into the labor ward, they will be in the room. So they will be free to move. So only during this third phase of first stage they will be taken to inside the labor room. So till that they will be allowed to move freely. So the distraction techniques can be like they can go for a small walk, they can read, they can listen to music, they can listen to TV, they can play cards or anything like that. Along with that, relaxation technique. So relaxation technique here, what we use is visualized imaginary relaxation technique. Okay, so they have to while doing the history taking itself, you can ask them what is their most happiest moment. So along with that by keeping those in your mind, then you have to teach them the visualized imaginary technique. So what you have to do is, if suppose if the mother is saying that she would like to walk in the beach, so that is her most happiest moment. So what you can do is, you can ask them to sit and close their eyes, then slowly you can start to talk to them. Okay, now ma'am, slowly you take in deep breath, then breathe out. Okay, so while taking in deep breath, just imagine you are walking in a beach. Now you can just take in the cool air, Okay, so the cool air is going inside your mouth, then the cool air is coming out like that. So you imaginarily you make them to imagine the most happiest moment in their life. Okay, so this is called as visualized imaginary technique. So imaginarily you make them to feel that particular happy moments, or imaginarily you make them to uh, think the most happiest moment that is happening. So this will help them to relax themselves. The next is tense. You can place the tense at the pain relieving site, and you can give them the tense. Okay, so this is a coping up strategy. So these are some of the things the couple can do, like a massage. Okay, they can just support over the lower back, and they can just give a soft pressure or a push. So this will give them a good pain relieving technique. Next is like the second phase, breathing. So here in the first phase you were breathing uh, like breathing in, then do a small doing a small short breathing in between, then breathe out completely. So this is the first phase breathing. Second phase breathing is called as breathing during the contraction. So this is also here also what you will do is you will be taking a cleansing breath, then relax and stare at the focal point, then do he like that. You have to breathe out. Okay, he like that, then you breathe out. So this is to increase the phase between the contractions, or phase between the breathing technique, breathing number of breathing times. So if you just leave the patient, what they will do, they will just breathe in and breathe out and breathe in, breathe out, like that they will do. When the pain is increasing, slowly they will be doing more and more, and they will end up in hyperventilation. So to avoid that, what you do is you phase the breathing in between with he ha ha. Okay, so you breathe in, then say he ha ha he ha ha he ha ha, then breathe out. Is that clear? So breathe in deeply, ha 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 ha. Breathe out. Is that clear? So this is called as like phasing the breathing technique along with the pain. Is that clear? Next is you can do massage. So massage, you will be making the person to sit in a chair or sit somewhere else, and the partner can give a massage, so that will give them a good pain relieving technique. So they can do two or three types of massage only. They should not do many. So you can teach them the massage and they can perform it. So either they can go for a single hand kneading, or they can go for a double hand kneading, depending on the area. Okay, then they can use the palm, or they can also use a tennis ball. So when they use a tennis ball, the pain will be constant throughout. Okay, so that's why they prefer tennis ball. Okay, so here what you can do, kneading and effleurage alone, you will be able to do it. So these are the areas you need to concentrate during the first stage of labor. So you can just give massage here. Okay, so you can just see it is at the L1 level. Okay, so the here is the here will be the more pain will be there in this area during the first stage of labor. So that's why you need to give massage over this area. Okay, so you can do a effleurage, sorry, you can do a stroking, you can do effleurage, then you can do the surface kneading. Surface kneading can be done only to this area, not other area. Okay, so they can use two balls, or they can use single ball to do the kneading. So next is like what you will do in the phase 3. Okay, so in the phase 3, what you will do is you will try to avoid pushing, because normally the human psychology will be like that. If they have any pain, they will be holding their breath and they will try to push out the particular object. So that is the main concern of the main human being, like that's what like human beings will do. So during this third phase, the pain will be little bit higher, the intensity also will be little longer. Okay, the pain will start for very longer time. So what you can do was here, this breathing is called as breathing to avoid push out. So what you have to do is, in between, like you were adding he ha ha, right? So in between the he and ha ha, you can go for some something like a uh, like without doing anything, or a shallow breathing. Okay, so that's what you can, again you can extend the time, and you will be able to control the breath holding. So what you can do is, take in breathe, deep breathe, then you say he ha ha, he ha ha, then you can just pat for some time, then you can again you can do expiration. So this will help you to reduce the number of breathing and reduce the hyperventilation. So next week is what you are supposed to do during the second stage of labor. Okay, so in the fourth week you will be teaching about the pain relieving and other possible technology, so that you can reduce the pain, because in this stage only the pain will be very severe. Okay, so what you can do is, you can also talk about the medical facilities that is available for them to reduce the pain. So what are the medical facility? If the pain is more severe, then you can go for any morphine or pethidine or any sedatives, so that you are able to balance, and the muscle contraction will just continue. So you can use any medications that will help you to reduce the pain. So the medicines are like pethidine, morphine, or any endoxin. So it's like kind of a anesthetic drugs which is given locally to just reduce the pain in case they are not able to tolerate it. Is that clear? Okay, so any kind of medications like endoxin, pethidine, and epidurals will be used. So you can also give a special emphasis on epidurals, because nowadays they use epidurals only. And advantage of this epidurals are, even after injecting this epidurals, they will be able to continue the breathing, continue the labor. So the labor will not be stopped if this epidurals are taken. Okay, I think like I have already spoke about this medicines during the last class. Next is, what are the positions you can follow during the second stage of labor. During the first stage of labor, they have to go for gravity eliminating position. So they should not go for towards gravity position. But in the second stage of labor, they have to go towards gravity position. So that the gravity also give them some assistance to pull down the baby. Okay, so that is the main concern. So these are some of the positions you will be doing during the second stage of labor. It is always towards the gravity. Every position is towards the gravity. Okay, so in the first stage you have to position the mother in the eliminating gravity position, but in the second stage you have to position her towards the gravity position. Okay, so these are some of the positions. The next pain relieving is massage. So you can do massage on either side. Now the pain will be from T10 till S2. So the pain will be little bit severe, and it will be there from the little higher level itself. So you can teach them to do the effleurage, stroking, and skin kneading. So these are the three things you are going to teach them. So effleurage can be given, stroking can be given like this. Then effleurage can be given in the sides. Then they have to give only the give the circular kneading only within this area. Within this area means from T10 till S2 area. So within this area they can give the massage. Next is like they can also go for an anterior massaging. So whenever they have pain, they can go for abdominal massaging. So they can do abdominal massage only in the sides. Okay, not over the other area. Only over the sides they are supposed to do the massage. So next is TENS. So these are the pain relieving modality we are seeing. Okay, so TENS. So now you have two types of TENS. So you can either use the burst type or you can also use the brief intense type. So in the TENS you have two modes. One is burst and one is brief. So both the modes can be used for used. So then the placement of TENS will be from T10 till S2. So from T10 till S2 you can keep the TENS, and instead of 2 pads you can go for 4 pads because the area of the pain will be little higher. So you can go for 4 pads. And you can if you are using a pocket TENS, then you can give it to the patient so that they can increase the intensity and reduce the intensity. So if you see here, in the first stage they will be placing the TENS from T11 till T12 alone. But when the pain is more, in the second stage they have to place four TENS. One is from T10 to L1. Another one will be at S2 to S4. So in this level, you can keep both the pair of TENS. Then it will be giving a good pain relieving technique. So next is in the week 5, you will be talking about the third stage of delivery. Third stage of delivery is nothing but the passive stage. That is where your remainings, like after the baby, the remainings will be coming out. That is the third stage. So that time they don't need to do anything. They don't need to do anything. They can just relaxedly do the breathing exercise. Okay, then you can also talk about the induction of labor and what is cesarean delivery and other thing. Then you can also teach them how to breastfeed and what are the benefits of breastfeed for the babies. All those things you can talk to them in the 5th week. In the 6th week, you have to talk to them regarding the postnatal period, because there is a transition time where they are transiting into the parenthood. Especially if it is a first delivery, then the mother will not know anything. Not only the mother, the couples will not know anything about it. So you have to teach them how to take care of the baby, how to wrap the baby, how to lift the baby, how to make the baby give feeding to the baby. All these things you have to teach them. Then you can also teach them what are the complications that is happening during the postnatal time, and how they will be able to overcome it. Okay, so then you can also teach the postnatal exercises in the week 6. So the complete exercise program is divided into 6 categories, and each category is given one week. Okay, so when they are coming to the next week, then as a PT you have to ask them how they did the exercises the previous week. Then from that you have to go for progression. Okay, don't directly start with the classes and just keep going. So sometimes the mother, because of some problem, she would not have done the exercises. So you are supposed to ask them very clearly when they come for the everyday's class. Is that clear? So any doubts so far?
No from me, miss.
Okay, next is like what are the strategies like you can teach them how to adjust to the postnatal thing. So they have to, if the couples are very young and if they are living alone, then they have to make friends so that if they have any difficulty, then the friends will help them to do the works. Okay, sometimes they may not be able to cook, then they need some family friends so who comes and helps them. Okay, so these are the that's why they need to definitely have some friends so that they can help them during this odd time. Sometimes the baby will not sleep the whole night, so the couples would have been awake for the whole night, so the next day immediately they cannot just cook and do their routine life. So that's why they definitely need to have a friends, especially couple friends, so that they will be helping them in their day-to-day works. The next is reduce the housework, reduce the perfection work. Don't think that all the work should be done perfectly. Okay, so reduce that one. Slow down as the progress, as the pregnancy progress. Okay, then definitely go to the parent educational class in case if it is conducted along with the partner, so that then both of them will have a good understanding. Sometimes the partner might think that she the mother is just acting. Okay, so they should know what really happens. So that's why in the class it will be taught very clearly so that they will get some idea. Okay, then they have to check with the maternal leaves how many days they are having in case if they are working, and plan the leaves and other things accordingly. Okay, then don't ever think to shift the house during the pregnancy time. So when they are pregnant, don't ever think to change the house. They should do before itself or they should do after. So in between, if they do, then it might they may not be able to work effectively like before. So it might affect them, so they should not do that. Then next is organize a like arrange a babysitter before itself so that they are able to um, take care of the baby even if they don't have any elderly people at home. Okay, so this is about the breast care. So when they are going for when we are talking about breast care, you need to teach them how to measure for the proper measurement and how to buy a proper brazier, because the bra should be giving a good support and it should be very comfortable to remove and wear it. Then only they will be able to wear it while doing wear it and remove for breastfeeding. So they should go for a very comfortable one, and you have to teach them how to measure for a proper brazier. Then the brazier should not be too tight or too loose so that it just leaves the body weight and it affects the posture. So they have to make sure that they are able to stand erect with the proper braces support. Then they can go for most of the time they will be inside laying only. So they will be able to feed them inside laying also. Okay. Then they should not wear a bra which has an underwire, because it may be compressing the area and it may cause some problem. So they should not use it. Then if they are having a very big size if their breast is very big, then they have to check with the if the breast is very big, if it is too heavy, then they can wear a brazier at night so that they give a good support. So if it is too heavy, then they have to wear a proper upper dress where it will not be exposed so much. Okay, so now we will see some videos so that you get a little more idea about the exercises. I think you understood the second video much clearer. Okay, so can we have a class on Wednesday?
Miss, may I know is what time?
Okay, I'll check your empty slot and I'll message in the group.
Why, Miss?
Okay, see, I hope you are going through the slides and other thing. If you have any doubt, you ask me then and there. Then, in case if you want me to repeat any topic also, you let me know. Is that clear?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.